Hello everyone and welcome to another devlog video for the Animal Behavior Kit 1.4 update. I am super excited to show you guys this new feature I've been working on for the past few days, and that is the ability for the animals to use in-place turn animations. A highly requested feature, and now that I have it implemented, I can see why. It makes them movement so much more natural. So you can see here that I have a little dragon. This is from a marketplace asset from Malverse. He does very good assets with really good and thorough animations. So this is the reason why I am using one of his assets for testing, because it has all of the animations that I need. So right now I have the default configuration for an animal in ABK. I have a 1D blend space, meaning that right now the animal just has locomotion from idle to run in a straight line. So the first thing we'll do is we're just going to hit simulate and see what that looks like. You can see that the animal turns and goes around, and it's not too bad, right? But when it turns to a very different direction from where it's facing, you can see that it's going to start dragging its feet. And obviously this is a little random, so we're going to have to wait. I'm going to give it one more try. See, there you go. You can see that it kind of drags, rotates unnaturally, and just kind of drags and goes on that way. And if I go to the blend space here, the one that we're using, I'm going to go back to the animation blueprint. Right now I'm using a 1D locomotion space, and you can see it just uses speed. And if I open the blend space, you can see that we have 4 different animations, and if I simulate the speed, you can see that it's blending between 4 different clips. And it's fine, but there's no rotation or turning used. If I go back to our animation blueprint, to our locomotion, and instead use a 2D blend space, which I'm going to switch right now, I'm going to compile. This 2D blend space not only has the same locomotion, but it also has some turn animation. So you can see now that the dragon can now move in 2 planes. So not only can it run, but it can run if it's rotating to the left or the right. You can see what's happening here. So right there, just by using a better blend space for your animal, you're going to see that we have a much nicer difference. So let's go back to our dragon here. And again, this is still possible with the current version of ABK. There's still some unnatural rotation, but when it's turning, it still looks a little bit better. There you go. You can see there that it's looking a little bit better, but it's still not 100%. And this is more noticeable when it is like 180 degree or like a really sharp turn. But it's definitely better than the previous version, where you can clearly see that the feet are dragging. There you go. So that already is an improvement. But obviously the biggest change is the in-place animation, and that is a new section that I have. That's actually the new work that's been done for 1.4. So right here I have my little dragon selected, and I go down to the animations, and you can see that we have some engage animations, attack animations, death. But now we have a new section called turn animations. And here you have to turn it on. You can use in-place turn animations. You have a % chance to use those animations. And then you have the in-place animations like turn left 90 degrees, left 180 degrees, right 90, and 180. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. I'm not using root motion. I'm going to implement that as well. But right now, if you're not using root motion, I do have to manually turn the AI, right, the animal, by this degree, depending on whether it's left or right turn. So right now I'm saying that I want our animal to use in-place turn animations 100% of the time before it starts moving. And let's see what that looks like now. There you go. And you can see I have a little debug message there. So it turns, and then it starts going. So much more natural movement, as you can see here. There is no more feet dragging, and right now it picks a random turn animation. So it picks whether it wants to go left or right first, and that's random. And then it picks whether it wants to do a 90-degree or a 180-degree turn. Then it plays the animation, turns the character, and then once it faces to the right location, then it goes forward to a random location. So you can see there. So pretty big improvement, I would say, and I know that a lot of the packs in the marketplace come with these types of animations. So now it's just as easy as adding it to the NPC. Right now, it's trying to find a suitable location because I think we're hitting the edge of the nav mesh here. But you can see that it uses the turn animation and it just goes. And in my opinion, what makes this kind of look even more natural is if you actually reduce the percent chance to something smaller. Let's say like 50%, for example. That means that it'll sometimes turn in place and sometimes it'll start running and turning as it runs using the 2D blend space. So if you have an asset with this kind of animations, then I think this is where you would reach the most natural movement. It can turn in place sometimes, and sometimes it'll just start running and turn as it runs. So you can see here, it played the turn animation. The little dragon is going around. Let's just see. Follow him. And let's see if it uses the turn animation now. Yep, in this case, it used it again. Yeah, there you go. I'm waiting for a case where it doesn't use it so I can show you what that looks like. Okay, there you go. So there, it didn't use it. And I don't want that bear to get too close because it's going to start attacking. But there it is. You can now use in-turn turn animations, in-place turn animations easily with ABK. And if you can do the 2D blend space, you can see right there it didn't use it, so it kind of turned. So you can have a lot more natural movement. That's pretty much it. As you can see, the options are fairly simple as far as configuring the thing. You enable it, and whether you use root motion or not, you enable it here. You do a percent chance to turn, and then you just add the new animation montages here. And that is pretty much it. Another thing I wanted to show you guys real quick is a change I made to the attack animations. On the previous video, I showed that each individual attack animation could have a custom sphere component used. But a user on Discord pointed that could be kind of inefficient because you could have 3 or 4 components per character, which is obviously not very performant. So the suggestion was actually to use the same sphere component and attach it to a different socket. In essence, every time just kind of move the component and do the trace. That is exactly what I did. So I'd like to show you guys this real quick. You can see that now, not only do you have the amount here and the damage type, but now you have an attached to socket name. And in this case, I added some sockets, for example, the right finger and the left finger, and then there's one for the head here. So if I click play here, you're gonna see real quick what that looks like. The bear is kind of going around. Oops, let me go ahead and make him aggressive. And instead of ignore, we're gonna make him attack. I'm gonna click play here. And you can see that I have the sphere component visible. And as he hits me, I'm gonna pause here real quick and eject. You can see that this sphere component is now attached to his left. And just pay attention to the component here as it's going to be switching. I'm going to go back here. Depending on the animation. Oh, it literally just killed me. So let me go back here real quick. But you can see how it's attached to different. There you can see that it's attached on this side. And then when it does the other one, you'll see that it's going to be attached to, there you go, to the other one right there. You can see it switching from right to left depending on the animation. So now all you need to do is create sockets for your skeletal mesh, put the name of the socket for each attack animation, and if you don't have a name, it'll default to the front of the animal just like here, and that way you have the additional flexibility. So thank you so much to that user for the suggestions. And I think this is actually a much better system for it. All right, guys, that is all I have for today. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.